The 45th president's influence still counts with voters in Wisconsin. The Trump-endorsed candidate in the GOP governor primary came out on top. Businessman Tim Michels defeated former Lieutenant Governor Rebecca Kleefisch despite her support from former Vice President Mike Pence and former Governor Scott Walker. Michels will face incumbent Governor Tony Evers. And joining us now to discuss is Amber Athey, Washington editor at the Spectator and host of the Unfit to Print podcast. Amber, welcome back. Always good to be with you. Let's talk more about this win for the Trump-backed candidate in Wisconsin. Were you surprised to see him come out on top? And did any other results from the primaries last night catch your eye?
I don't think that Tim Michels' victory was all that surprising. You know, we saw in the past couple of weeks that the Trump endorsement remains very powerful. Blake Masters and Kari Lake winning in Arizona, Joe Kent taking out the incumbent who voted to impeach President Trump, Jamie Herrera Butler, in Washington. This is more of the same. There is also another candidate in Connecticut that received a late surge from Trump and ended up winning her race as well. So clearly, this is still something that really matters to voters, whether or not the former president is on board with these candidates. Another race that surprised me was how close the primary was for Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. She just narrowly defeated a centrist Democrat who was challenging her, suggesting that the squad is no longer running away with elections, and their progressive primary voters are starting to get a bit fed up with some of their policies.
Yeah, speaking of the former president, I want to kind of go back to him. What are your thoughts on the raid on Mar-a-Lago earlier this week? And do you think there's a chance that in a way this could actually help him rally support?
This raid was pure political intimidation. It all rests on a dispute about documents that the former president took with him from the White House when he left office. Members of his team say that many of them have been declassified by the former president, in which case they would be perfectly allowable to be at Mar-a-Lago. And his team was actually working with the National Archives to return documents that they requested when the National Archives referred this case to the Department of Justice. The legal team with Trump then went ahead and met with federal agents and said that this raid caught them completely off guard because by all measures they were cooperating with the investigation. The only reason that the FBI would go in would be to try to get the former president under the Presidential Records Act, which is very unprecedented. We've had former presidents take things from the White House before and never faced this level of scrutiny for it. Or perhaps this was a fishing expedition because under this search warrant, if the FBI were to find something else to advance another criminal case outside of the dispute over documents, they would be able to use those materials as well.
I want to switch gears here. Inflation came down to 8.5% in July, down from 9.1% in June. What do you make of this dip, albeit small, in inflation as prices continue to sit at a 40-year high?
Yeah, it feels like a small victory, right? And unfortunately, the White House is trying to sell this as a sign of an economic recovery, even though there are no other signals in the economy to suggest that that's the case. In fact, all signs point towards a coming recession. Karine Jean-Pierre, the White House press secretary, and President Joe Biden himself both suggested there is zero inflation when what they really mean is that there wasn't an increase in inflation. And they are misleading the American people by claiming that this is a sign of good things to come. The American people need to be informed about the economic situation so that they can prepare for an emergency. And it's really unfortunate that the White House feels the need to misrepresent what's actually happening in order to boost Joe Biden's political chances.
And we're going to leave it right there. Amber, always great to be with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.